NBA Straya. How are you going? Hey, are you good? I hope so. Why is that, Jim? Well, TGIF, am I right? It is Friday, January 30, all day. And I'll tell you what, I'd hate to be a tin in about 57 minutes. Gonna get deleted. Anyway, basketball, give me the ball, cause I'm gonna dunk it. Yeah, I'm your host, James Clements, here at Larry Armour Studios, sweating like a priest near a preschool. It's too damn hot, and the rent's too high. Hey, Giannis wants out, kind of, without him saying it. Oh, God. We'll do the top 5 Giannis landing spots. I don't want to, but I will. Just as, look, I'm a nice guy, I'll help you out, just to talk it all out. And then the rest of today's show is going to be the Week 15 Power Rankings. Power Rankings! We're breaking down every single team by tier. So that's a fun one. And that's all we've got for today because, look, there's been some pretty fun games on. We'll hit that very early on in the newsy segment. But we'll be back to our regular scheduled programming as of next week. So your day-to-day NBA consumption shall rise dramatically before the All-Star break. But with the trade deadline literally like a week away, we're diving in pretty hardcore for the next week. So it's going to be pretty fun. So we'll also pick and preview all the games for tomorrow. So just keep your hats on. All right. Without further ado, let's get into it. Episode 1344 of NBA Straya. Let's go.
This is Josh Giddey.
G'day, this is Andrew Gay.
This is Jack White.
This is Joe Ingles.
This is Darcy Daniels.
This is Chris Anstey.
This is Matthew Delvedova.
This is Shane Hill.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening and watching NBA Straya.
This is NBA Australia. Let's do it.
Watch out for the shark attack.
Well, you better watch out for the attack of Jaylen Brown's elbow if you're in Onyeka Okongwu. Now, if you haven't seen the footage, I suggest you don't. You don't need to see what he did to his face. It was pretty bad. Well, specifically his teeth, right? Just an absolute mess on one side of his face after an inadvertent elbow. Not good. As someone who has gone through like a little bit of surgery, the roof of my mouth, and then a year or so before that, the tonsillectomy, the adenoid removal. I don't want another bloody doctor going anywhere near my bonds ever again. So, pour one out for Onyeka Okongwu and his poor teeth. Jaylen Brown was like, yeah, dude, I didn't mean it. That happened to me. It sucks. Anyway. Hey, let's start with the daily whip around. Giannis Antetokounmpo has asked for a trade. No, he hasn't. He hasn't asked for a trade. There's no trade request. But there has been. But there hasn't. But there has been. What do you mean, Jim? Well, I'll tell you. He wants out, but he doesn't want to fucking say it because he's too much of a suki-la-la coward. Instead, we get mealy-mouthed bullshit fuckery from the likes of that giant flog Shams, who is too busy fucking carrying water for every agent out there to actually be a journalist. But anyway, instead of Giannis Antetokounmpo, Milwaukee Bucks super duper star who delivered the franchise its first title in fucking 50 years, is ready for a new home. That's what he says. So instead of saying, fucking MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo, superstar who's brought the city its first title in 50 years, has asked for a trade. No, he has to say he's ready for a new home at the trade deadline or in the off season. And rival teams are making aggressive offers to the Bucks, who are now starting to listen. Oh yeah, they're only just now starting to listen, are they, Shams? Don't fucking piss down my leg and tell me it's raining, you fucking prick. Right? Very simply. You're getting fired up, Jim, I know. They're just fucking call the thing what the thing is. I hate this shit. I hate it. Just say, look, Giannis and the Bucks are working to see if working on a new fucking home for him, right? look, working on trying to find him a new team. If that's what he desires, here we are, right? And apparently, and then we just go on with this fucking flim-flammy bullshit from Shams. Multiple teams have received assent. Multiple teams have received assents. Really? Fuck me. The Bucks are more open than ever to Antetokounmpo offers between now and the deadline. However, they've indicated to interested teams that the organisation is not in a rush to complete a move and is willing to navigate Antetokounmpo's future in the offseason. If its believed price point of a blue-chip young talent and or surplus of draft picks isn't met. By waiting until the summer, the Bucks could also see which teams are available to offer more appealing draft picks in June. True. He goes on to say that the Heat, the Wolves, the Knicks, and the Warriors are among serious suitors. Sure. Look, the Giannis thing obviously came to a head this week. And I've just long been in the position, fucking just either say it or like piss or get off the fucking toilet. What are you doing? Shit or get off the pot, right? Don't know if he's sitting down to a wee, but here we are. The squid, the baby squid, he's now toilet trained, right? It's been, touch wood, a decent enough process. He's all good. But, yeah, it's a lot of dad, just fucking screaming. It's like, I need to go to the toilet. And it's like, dude, you can climb up there. You're fine. And then he's just sitting there for ages. And you're like, all right, good. Some other people have to use this toilet, but he's like, go on, I need some privacy. Feels like that's Giannis at the moment. Anyway, so with the Bucks now clearly just going, all right, we might have fucked this. The Miles Turner thing didn't work out. Who could have seen that coming except for fucking everybody? And now here we are, staring down the barrel of having to make the best of a shitty situation. So, look, we'll hit the top 5 landing spots in a second after we do the rest of the news and talk about some of the fun stuff from today. But, yeah, it came to a point, and you've actually had proper journalists like Jake Fisher and Mark Stein and stuff like that sort of talking this out the last week, even Windy from ESPN as well. So going, yeah, it's cooked, mate. It's all done. Fucking pack her up, boys. He's out. He's played his last game as a Buck. And instead, you got this Shams bullshit of like, hey, Shams, we'll tell you when to fucking press send on the tweet if you couch it in terms where it does not look like Giannis has asked for a trade. Right? That's what all this is all about. This is the inside basketball shit. And it's not even that much inside, but this is just how it goes. This transactional fucking process, which just shits me up the wall. Anyway, and here we are with Giannis probably having played his last game as a Milwaukee Buck. If you're a Bucks fan, this is just another kick in the dick, but you do have a title, a couple of MVPs, and I kind of think it is a fascinating situation for the simple fact that Giannis is now actually, can you say injury prone if it's only been the last little bit? Maybe. He's 31. He just turned 31 in December. You know what doesn't get better with age? Your calf muscles. Soft tissue injuries. Like, fuck me. And you're sort of going to get to this place where the Bucks are going to ask for the farm and teams are going to be going, oh, yeah, so how good were you with Giannis? Interesting. So how much do you want us to give up for it? Oh, a lot. Yeah. Jeez, a bit rough. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, we'll talk about that more in 1 second. Speaking of trade demands, Dalton Knecht has asked for a trade. He's demanded a trade. Let's be fucking serious here. Like, as I said the other day, talking about who demands a trade and who requests a trade is very interesting. Because you might remember Jonathan Kuminga demanded a trade, whereas a lot of other players request a trade. And the way that it can be reported by carrying water journalists like Shams really kind of matters, right? Because if you're not playing fucking ball, they're going to put you over the coals there, Palo. Anyway, Dalton Knecht wants out. Makes sense. There's a couple of interesting sort of landing spots with Dalton Knecht. I mean, he doesn't play for a Lakers team that could use his sort of skill set. So here we are. How good can he really be? But you've got teams like, I don't know, the Cavs wanting to get off DeAndre Hunter. That's an interesting buy low, cheapy candidate, I guess. Yeah? So suddenly Knecht becomes like an interesting little wrinkle there, I guess, for the Lakers. And if Hunter is out in Cleveland with Jalen Tyson becoming, I don't know, the second coming of Michael Jordan, and saying that, LeBron doesn't matter in Cleveland and Donnie Mitchell, it's Donnie Mitchell's town now. I don't know. Interesting stuff for the Lakers. Lakers fans, geez. Do you think they're already busy trading like Dalton Knecht for Tyler Hero? You better believe it. Anyway, we've also got a little bit of other news. We've got 2 players who have actually committed to the dunk comp so far. You got Jackson Hayes, again, from the Lakers, and Carter Bryant from the Spurs, who is wildly athletic. So, I don't know. When you've got like VJ Edgecombe laughing at the idea of being in the dunk comp, I think we've fucked it. They need the Vice President of Common Fucking Sense, i.e. your mate Jim, to come in, fix the All-Star game, fix the rookie game, fix the dunk comp, and just fucking fix the entire thing for Adam Silver in the NBA. As I've said time and time before, all I request is a mid-six-figure salary, and away we go. But Jackson Hayes and Carter Bryant is turning absolutely fucking zero heads. Guess what? Mac McClung's not doing it. This is going to be fucked. We're just jumping on the pre-hate train already. I'm just saying it's going to be a shit show. Speaking of the dunk comp, Aaron Air Gordon is out for another 4 to 6 weeks. He'll be reevaluated at least in 4 to 6 weeks with his hammy. This is brutal. He just can't get the sort of stretch of games under his belt and stay healthy for a really long period of time, the way that Denver need him to be a real super duper threat in the playoffs, right? And this is going to be a real problem for the Nuggets because, look, a lot of their advantage comes from, yes, they've got some pretty nice depth this year, but if you don't have your starters actually healthy, that depth is going to get tested pretty quickly. Christian Brown injured, with all those sort of Peyton Watsons of the world and stuff like that. I'd rather have your Aaron Air Gordon out there, fit, healthy, and like actually doing okay, because suddenly you go from half a season of runway into the playoffs to in 4 to 6 weeks, he comes back, he's got 3-4 weeks before the playoffs start. It gets hard. So yeah, tough one. Anyway, but I think I mentioned this a few weeks ago. The good thing about Denver getting all those injuries kind of the way they have is that it's allowed them to just play their young dudes. And they've been really good. The problem is you have to get some of those vets back at some point. Woof. Anyway, and that's about it for, I guess, the news, really. There's not a giant amount else going on. It's just a lot of folks sort of like getting really up in their feels about Giannis and like where he's going to go. There was one little interesting one that I think the Spurs and the Warriors, the game that was on, I think it's the last day maybe before the All-Star break, that has now been moved onto ESPN. So they might be thinking, geez, just in case the Warriors land Giannis. Adam Silver's like, they're definitely getting Giannis if I have my way. Oh, my God. And off they go. So that'll be fun. We'll see what happens there. Anyway, and that's it for a bit of the news. Hey, let's do it. Let's keep talking about Giannis.
I would like to very much not be here anymore.
Okay, Giannis. Top 5 landing spots according to Jim for Giannis Antetokounmpo. This is sort of like a combination list of like where I want him to go, where I think he could end up, and which team does he land on that he actually really sort of just, in my brain, fits thematically and can kind of help them. Like, he just looks good in that uniform is almost what I'm trying to say, but also can give them a shot at making like, a deep playoff run even this year once he comes back. And you sort of throw this around and you go, right, who can feasibly trade for him? Because you go, well, what about the Knicks? And you're like, the Knicks traded 5 picks for Mikal Bridges, right? Just as well, because look at him lighting it up. He dropped 30 the other day. Anyway, the point being, these are the kind of more realistic-ish kind of landing spots. And there's like obviously other teams out there that would go, well, what about Paolo Banchero for Giannis? And like Orlando are probably like, don't know, we're probably good. I don't know. Yeah, what we need is less 3-point shooting. But But there's other ones out there where, like, you look at Philly, and Tyrese Maxey today goes off, hits the game winner against Sacramento. Awesome game. Played off his head, drops 40, 41, whatever it was. He's amazing. You're not trading Maxey for Giannis. You're not trading VJ Edgecombe for Giannis. You'd definitely go, hey, here's Paul George and whatever picks we can give you, Milwaukee. And the Bucks are like, really? This is what we've got? Great. The same thing goes for like a team like the Clippers. Like, you're going to get their fucking runoffs. They've got fucking just a really fucked pick situation where obviously they owe a bunch to OKC. Even OKC, with all the picks under the fucking sun, they're probably not kicking the tires. Well, they might have a chat about, should we trade a bunch of this shit for Giannis? What do you reckon? And with the way that this season has sort of looked a little bit shonky at times, you'd have to probably put in a quick phone call just to see what the price is, right? Because, like, yeah, we're keeping SGA, J-Dub, and Chet. Does anybody else on our team interest you, Milwaukee? And the Bucks would probably go, no, and hang up. So what about if we gave you 8 of our 1 millionth picks? And they're like, I don't know. You look like you're pretty young and pretty good. So, yeah, a bit of a tough one. And then there's, like, other teams that just don't have, like, assets, like someone like Memphis or Indy or, you know, Phoenix, these sorts of teams where you go, ooh, that'd be kind of nice. And then you go, oh, yeah, but they got nothing to give up. And that's the thing about the Knicks. It's like, I don't know why Milwaukee be like, oh, goody, we get Karl Anthony Towns. The guy who's been just a fucking wildly wishy-washy kind of pain in my bum in his last 2 teams. Awesome. We definitely should trade Giannis for that and fuck all picks. Anyway, so top 5 landing spots. We'll go backwards. And number 5 is Atlanta. But Jim, Atlanta would be really good. They could give up Jalen Johnson and possibly the number 1 pick for Giannis. Fuck that. No. If I'm Atlanta, there is absolutely zero chance you're getting Jalen Johnson. It is pretty funny when you look at all these trade, fucking perceived trade ideas and stuff like that. And like everybody else is like giving up an injured Jimmy Butler who's 7 years old and Jonathan Kuminga who Steve Kerr hates because he doesn't think he can play basketball good and like a couple of shit picks. Meanwhile, Atlanta has to give up a nascent all-star in Jalen Johnson and possibly the number 1 pick in the most loaded draft we've ever seen. Get fucked. But if Atlanta can piece together a deal around like the Extreme Zinger Meal, where is he?
Extreme Zinger Meal.
And Zachary Rissache, who's the number 1 pick from a couple of years ago, and that pick, then suddenly Atlanta can roll out Dyson Daniels, Nicky Alexander-Walker, Jalen Johnson, Giannis, and Onyeka Okongwu, and you're like, hang on, now I'm starting to get a bit interested. But that number 1 pick and like whatever other picks, they're sort of like out a couple here and there. But if you can sort of go, here's a first or 2, Zinger and Rissache, suddenly you get a bit interested if you're Atlanta. And the fit, as I said, I think the other day, having Giannis on that team is the most exciting thing to happen to that team since Dominique Wilkins was in his pomp. But Jim, they had like those 60-win teams. Yeah, they were still fucking boring. Josh Smith was a highlight reel, but wasn't also like wildly consistent. But Joe Johnson, Jim, exactly. Joe fucking Johnson, Kyle Korver, Jeff Teague, yeesh. The Trae Young fucking thing also showed it's like if you have a limited superstar as like your number 1 thing, you're going to be hard pressed. You can be the fucking face of a franchise and then you can fall out of favor like that. So Atlanta would suddenly have a super duper star, one of the top 5 players in the NBA, a couple of interesting defensive pieces and offensive pieces around him. And I think they're kind of, suddenly a little bit loaded for bear. But because they've got that New Orleans pick just in their back pocket, that's a really good trade chip. So I don't know. Would you do it this year? During this season, before this trade deadline? Don't know. Maybe. I kind of would. I'd just go, fuck it. What are we winning right now? But by the same token, if you go, well, we've got a young Jalen Johnson who's carving it up, and we could have the number 1 pick in this draft who could be an absolute franchise-saving, super duper star on a cheap contract. Fucking, you might have to go the second way rather than a 31-year-old Giannis. Don't know. It's a tricky one, but it's a good one, and that's why Atlanta are on this list. Number 4, Minnesota. It's a bit more difficult to piece this one together because they're out a bunch of draft picks thanks to the Rudy Gobert trade, but they can scrap together a bunch of stuff. And if you go, hey, here's a Jaden McDaniels and a Rob Dillingham as some of your young pieces to help you tank on your way to the bottom bucks, and a couple of picks that we can give you that are protected or they're swapped out anyway, but they're yours once we sort of do this. And to give you a bit of trade ballast, here's Julius Randle and Mike Conley. What do we say? And the Bucks are probably like, nah, get fucked. Your picks are shit. And Jaden McDaniels, as good as he is, like, you're not building a fucking franchise around him, and Rob Dillingham. But if you can move McDaniels for a couple of other picks elsewhere and throw them in to sweeten the pot, suddenly it starts getting a bit more interesting if you're going Randall, Naz Reid, and Dillingham, possibly Conley as well. Maybe Minnesota has to take back the Kuzma or Portis deals as well. And so as many picks as they can deal. But basically, if I'm Minnesota and I have any sort of chance to go Giannis and Ant-Man, interesting stuff.
Interesting stuff.
And they're number 4 on my list here, just because I think Ant-Man and Giannis, with, Rudy Gobert at the back there, it becomes a wildly interestingly fucking chaotic team, doesn't it? That Minnesota Wolves team. I love the Timberwolves when they're up and about. There's just like a bit of a vibe to them. And this could be a really fucking fun vibe. So I've got them at 4. Number 3, the Miami Heat. The Heat have done it again. It could be Pat Riley's fucking swung swan master stroke. He's still got it. Tyler Hero, Wiggins, Khalil Ware, and then the couple of picks that they still have available to trade. Will that get it done? I love Ware. Hero is good enough where you go, the talent is there. He's a local kid, but he's not going to help us win so much that we can't not tank, right? And Wiggins, if you want to move him on, like fucking bang, off you go. The thing that stands out the most to me, though, is that Giannis is the most, put him in a Miami Heat uniform and it just makes a lot of fucking sense, and it hurts my brain how much sense it makes, right? He's probably not going to struggle with the body fat regulations of the Miami Heat, you know what I'm saying? Thanasis might, once he gets there. The oldest one, he definitely will. But yeah, Miami, it's a little bit more difficult for them to make it happen, but with Hero and Ware, suddenly you go like, it's an interesting sort of little bit of talent that we could get there, and Miami are just going to keep swinging for super duper stars. If they still have Norm, Giannis, and Bam, like, you've suddenly got a pretty fucking interesting, like, ooh, our top 3 can go up against anybody in the East in a playoff run, if you reckon that Giannis can play. It's a very, very interesting one all of a sudden. I've got them at 3 just because it just makes so much sense in Miami. You're going to fucking go hammer and tongs at doing it. Number 2, it's Golden State. That's right. The Warriors, butts, cum dog, and as many firsts and swaps as you can do to get it done, because that is a shithouse deal. Here's Jonathan Kuminga. Oh, goody. The guy that Steve Kerr fucking hates and can't get on the court for your team unless someone's injured. Radical. And a 37-year-old dude coming off an ACL. Yeah, please. The kicker there for Golden State, the Golden State deal, obviously for Milwaukee, is the picks. Because if you're like, well, we get to add Steph and Giannis together for one last ride, baby. We're going in the sunset. Yeah! Right? And then damn the torpedoes in like 2029 and 2030 when like Steph's 42 and Giannis is like 35. Suddenly those picks look pretty tasty. You know what I'm saying? It's just, if you can use it as a dumping spot for one of your other contracts like Bobby Portis and Kuzma, and maybe get 1 or 2 of their other young dudes back as well, like Pods and Moody or something, maybe. But at the same time, they're number 2 on my list because I just, to be honest, sucker for the simple idea of Steph Curry and Giannis on the same team. It just aesthetically pleases me. Right? It just does. You can see him in that fucking blue uniform. It just looks cool. He looks rad. Next to Steph, they look so simpatico that it blows your mind. Their games work so fucking well. So, yeah, they're at number 2 because I think the funniest part is that Mike Dunleavy runs the Warriors. I don't know if you remember this, but was it the Bucks-Bulls playoff series a million years ago? Like, Giannis just fucking poleaxing Michael Dunleavy Jr. I can't imagine that dude's like, oh, cool, I can't wait to see that fuckhead again. But he's a pretty good basketball player. Thing is, like, yeah, their package is so heavily draft pick based, and maybe a couple of their young dudes and Cumdog and Butts. Maybe it gets it done, but I don't know. Does it outweigh other packages that you can get out there? Maybe not. If OKC just threw a wall of picks at you, who knows? And then number 1, it's the Toronto Raptors. What, Jim? Toronto? Yes. For the simple fact of, like, he feels like a Raptor. What do you mean by that, Jim? Well, you've got this Raptors team that's always sort of, because it's Canadian, has like that sort of international feel a lot of the time. And remember, I don't know if you remember this, but Giannis Antetokounmpo is from Greece. That's pretty international. But he also it just fits as well, again, in my aesthetic idea of him in a Raptors jersey. We've seen this sort of like gung-ho, fuck it kindness from them before when they got Kawhi, they won a title. And Giannis next to IQ, the notorious BI3, Scotty Barnes, it gets fucking sexy quick, I reckon. If your packages are around RJ Barrett, Teenage Mutant, Jakob Poeltl, Colin Murray Boyles, and whatever picks the Raptors can throw out there, I think they can get to a couple picks pretty fucking easily. Suddenly you got like a couple of interesting players, a couple of interesting picks, because who knows what the fuck's going to go on there. And if you can keep plumbing them from players and picks, have at it. I kind of like, even if like Spindles Ingram is in the deal, like I'm not really bothered. As long as like Toronto are keeping Scotty Barnes, IQ, maybe even RJ, maybe you switch out BI3 for RJ, I don't know. But they're going to be pretty low on big men very quickly. So I don't know, Miles Turner as a package, what do we reckon? Just start switching out your problems for my problems kind of vibes. But I just kind of feel like Giannis Toronto is the sort of deal that happens and no one sort of saw it coming. But once you start thinking about it, it makes a lot more sense. And you're like, oh, fuck. Spacing with Scotty Barnes and Giannis on that same team with maybe Brandon Ingram gets really fucking problematic real fucking quickly. But I don't know. That's something for a coach to figure out and not your mate Jim. Anyway, and aesthetically, this is my list. I just kind of feel like he fits as a Toronto Raptor because you look down that East Coast, you look at that Eastern Conference, you go, Toronto, that's right, they have Giannis. It just makes sense in my brain. And it's my show, so there we go. So, to recap, number 5, Atlanta. 4, Minnesota. Number 3, the Miami Heat. Playoffs, Pitbull. Golden State, 2, and then Toronto at number 1. Honorable mentions. I don't like the fit in New York with him and Brunson. It just sort of makes me feel just a little... I feel like the cat thing just gets really strange all the time for the Knicks fans. Giannis plays hard, plays his ass off. Just don't know if the fit makes me as happy as other things. And I think their trade packages are just so dog shit that I just don't really care. Houston is an interesting one. Fred VanVleet, that big contract and like a pick of one of our good young dudes. But I don't know. I don't know if they are in the hunt for like a big fish like Giannis after the KD. They've still got some picks, don't get me wrong. But, I mean, you're not going to give it Amen Thompson or Şengün, are you? Are you? If you are, you're in the running. But other than that, how about Portland? The draft picks that the Bucks actually sent to Portland in the Dame trade were a couple of swaps and an unprotected 29 pick. Get all those back and Denny or Shaden. And now we're talking. I don't mind that because now they actually just get to reunite Dame and Giannis in Portland, which is pretty funny. So just go, I don't know what the fuck just happened the last 3 years, but it was weird. And now Giannis is on Portland. It would be pretty fucking funny. Maybe Matisse is in there as well, but Portland's interesting. The other one is Detroit. And if Detroit really want to fucking swing for the fences, they do have a few movable parts with Tobias Harris. Like Orsar Thompson. Do you want Orsar Thompson? Radical. Fighting Ron Holland. Off you go. Jaden Ivey. We've got a bunch of picks. Roll the fucking dice. Get him to the Motor City. Don't mind that. That's an honorable mention. And the funniest one is probably Chicago, which is like Buzelis, Kobe White, Zach Collins, Patch, 3 firsts, and you get Giannis and Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis comes home to Chicago, fighting Bobby Portis. He's going to go find Nikola Mirotic and punch him in the head again. It's an honorable mention because the Chicago Bulls would never fucking do it because they're run by a bunch of cowards, but here we are. Otherwise, as I said, OKC, wall of picks. Spurs, wall of picks, a couple of young dudes. Sure, I just don't think those teams are going to do it. There we go. Those are my sort of most interesting ones. Let's take a quick break, come back with some power rankings right after this.
This is Cam Glidden.
This is Anthony Drimmick.
This is Mitch McCarron.
This is Jason Kadee.
This is Darryl McDonald.
Hey guys, this is Hugh Greenwood.
Yo, what's going on? This is Illy.
This is Mark Worthington, or commonly known as Wortho, and you're listening to NBA Australia.
You listen to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA
And you're listening to
Australia.
NBA Australia.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
All right. Back with some, usually we do nars here, but we're going to do the power rankings here and then do some picks and then get out of here because I got to go pick up the squid. The power rankings in week 15 are brought to you by you. That's right. You can go support the show. buymeacoffee.com/NBA Australia or just hit the link in our show description or our social bios. It's right there. We just posted our brand new exclusive Dead Set Legends Club show, which is an exclusive members only show that we do. This one is me going through all 30 teams and assigning them the band or artist that they are. There is a wrinkle. You'll have to sign up to find out what it is. It's very cool. It's a radical one. I put a lot of time and effort into this one. There's a video with all of the bands and artists and all the logos and all that sort of stuff. So if you go sign up, buymeacoffee.com/NBA Australia, become a supporter, become a member. Basically, you buy me a tin or a coffee once a month, and you get to join the exclusive Dead Set Legends Club, which I'll be updating more and more and more now that I've actually got some fucking time, because the squid is back at, school, and away we go. So lots more fun exclusive content coming through there. It's basically, if you know what Patreon is, it's Patreon, but we do it through Buy Me a Coffee because it seems more chill. And it's a lot easier. So just go smash that. If you want the new exclusive show, it'll get sent to you if you sign up, and away you go. It's really fun. It's great. Help support this pirate ship. Doing it by ourselves. Would appreciate any support. And if you do have a business as well, you can sponsor the show. You can hit me up. Just hit me up through the DMs. You can also just do it through Buy Me a Coffee. We'll tee it up through there. But there's lots to chat about. So anyway, let's get into it. Oh, and thanks to all the legends who have already signed up to the Dead Set Legends Club. It's thriving. It's crushing. So yeah, appreciate you all. It's unreal. Love your guts. buymeacoffee.com/NBA Australia. Week 15 power rankings. So we did these last Friday. They're a little bit different. It's been a really interesting week this week. We had a couple of dips, but mostly it's a couple of teams that were dipping that have sort of slowly just gone, oh, look out, I think we might be all right now. There's a couple more teams that are in the, this is a bit squirrely, but we're looking okay at the moment. We're in a really interesting spot, and this is kind of why I keep doing the power rankings on the Friday. It's a really fun way just to keep track of the ins and outs of the season and sort of see where every team is at. So if you're a fan of insert team here, you'll hear me talk about them for at least a little bit. We also do the short video of the power rankings as well. But for the minute, I think there was like crazy sort of, 3-week period where nobody won more than 3 games in a row or lost 3 games in a row. That has swung dramatically as the tank race has sort of kicked off anew. As teams are like, wait a minute, some of these college players are off their fucking head. And then you've got some other teams that sort of had their dips like the Knicks and they've bounced back. Or you've got the teams that have just fallen off a cliff, like the Bucks. Someone like the Magic who have like dipped pretty badly but jumped back up. Got the Blazers dealing with injuries, this sort of stuff. So without further ado, let's do it. The punch in the dick bad tier. We're starting at 30, and this is still your Brooklyn Nets, who keep getting close like every second game. But they've lost 6 in a row and will probably lose to Denver's B team today. They haven't lost that game yet. It was close in the third quarter, which is where we're at. But watching them is punching the dick bad because you're constantly reminded by Sean Marks, bro, the GM of the Nets, and their draft board. We draft who we want, man. Being so shit that they had 5 firsts and they're just none of like they all show like flashes at different times. And like, yeah, Igor Dem looks okay at times as well. Nolan Traore at times is fine. Danny Wolf will pop in every like you just like, but you could have just taken fucking Derek Queen, right? But you had to go and be fucking smarter than everybody, and it doesn't look like it's going like it's fine. But the thing that sticks to me about Brooklyn this year is that they took all those picks in the first round. They used all of them. They didn't just combine a couple to move up and maybe grab a Cedric Coward or someone like that, right? Package a couple of those, jump up. And what they're kind of left with is this really unbalanced roster where Michael Porter Jr. is playing out of his fucking skin. We get that. Nick Claxton's really good. And all of these young dudes, if you look ahead to this draft where the Nets have their own pick and currently are, in the tank standings, they're at 12 wins. Everybody else at the bottom is on 12 wins. So you got a 5-way tie at the moment for 12 wins. The difference is in the losses because the Nets have got 33, the Wizards have got 34, the Pacers have got 36, and then the Kings and the Pelicans have got 37 losses. Right? But they've all got 12 wins. So the Nets are currently 5th out of the 5. If they get a franchise-saving cornerstone at the top of the top 5 pick this year, but if you're 5th of that 5, remember you can drop all the way to like 8. Like it's a long way down pretty quickly. But the idea being, whoever they got, if they land a top 3 pick, they'd get to that Brooklyn Nets team and go, well, I like having the ball in my hand. And Brooklyn are like, we drafted 4 ball handlers last year. It's like, you fucking morons. Like, Jaeger might be a dude. Nolan maybe. There's a couple of moments every so often we're like, oh, not bad. But Jordi Fernandez, I think, is a really good coach. But, wow, that team is playing pretty. They will play tough every so often, but, wow. They just annoy me more than anything. 29, the Washington Wizards, who showed up for John Wall's retirement night ceremony thing and actually went hammer and tongs and beat the piss at the Milwaukee Bucks to get themselves to 12 wins for the season. It was pretty funny. They are really tough to watch, though, like a lot of the times. But they have now won 2 games on the trot, so I have them above Brooklyn, who have lost 6, possibly 7 if they lose this Denver game today. So Washington have just beaten Portland and Milwaukee. They now play the Lakers, which is an interesting one. But they've been in a bunch of these games in the last 2 weeks. So I've got them at 29 because they kind of just between Keyshawn George, Alexander Sarr, etc. They're kind of you can see the outline of what they're trying to do-ish. And then you look at their draft position and you're like, oh, if you get that one franchise-saving cornerstone player at the top of the draft this year instead of slipping to 7 and getting stuck with Trey Johnson, now you're laughing. I can sort of see what you've got. You've actually got some interesting pieces, whereas Brooklyn, ugh. Good job, Washington. 27, the Sacramento Kings. Oh, geez. They lost today in Philly. It was a heartbreaker. They were crushing it too. Philly, though, just rode Maxey to an awesome, awesome win. The Kings, though, you watch them and you're like, hey, Sabonis is back. They're much more watchable than they were. The punch in the dick thing for the Kings comes much more for their decision-making, right? No Rusty at the moment. You've got Nick Clifford out there just running around like a chook with its head cut off. Dennis Schroeder, Drummond, Rondo, DeMar DeRozan, Precious next to Sabonis. I don't mind Dylan Cardwell. Shows a little bit of something. Maxime Renault is pretty good at times as well. Keon Ellis, they're now finally going, oh, look, he can play. See, everybody please trade for him. And Zach LaVine coming off the bench today, which is pretty interesting. So we'll see what happens. But wow, the Kings are still 12-37. And remember, they came into this year actually trying. Yeah. They've lost 7 on the trot. Doug Christie, he stinks. New Orleans at 26. They are still punching the dick bad. They really are. It's rough. It's really rough. Because I've got them ahead of Sacramento, though, because they've actually won a couple of games of late. And every so often you catch them, like you got zero fears trying to fight everybody. They won back-to-back games. They beat the Spurs. It was crazy. They beat the Grizzlies. And you're like, this is what we kind of expected. And they fought against the Thunder, literally tried to fight the Thunder. But Zion has been playing. Trey Murphy has been playing. They're just shit. That's why they're still in the punch in the dick bad tier, because they are. And I love that they're just like, nah, we don't want to trade anybody. Trey Murphy went 3 of 20 in that OKC game the other day. 1 of 11 from 3. Crazy stuff. But yeah, they are punching the dick bad. The bad but not fun tier. After the Pelicans trade everybody, they're going to be 30. But I just don't know if we trust them to be smart enough to trade everybody, because Joe Dumas. Utah are at the bottom of the bad but fun tier. Bad but not fun tier, because they are not very fun sometimes. They got their ass kicked yesterday. They're 26 on this list. And they're doing the thing again. What thing, Jim? The thing where they sort of fuck around and sort of tank and pretend that they're not tanking but don't play their dudes. And Will Hardy's got an extension that runs to 2046 or whatever now, because they realize what they're doing to the poor bloke. They got trounced by the Warriors, ass kicked by the Clippers, ass kicked by the Miami Heat, ass kicked by the Spurs, beat the Wolves. It's so weird. But they are not that much fun, because, you saw yesterday Lowry played, gave him a little bit of something, and had a sick dunk, but yeah, it's not that much fun unless you're really into Bryce Sensabaugh and Keontae George, the roller coaster, and Ace Bailey missing some shots. It's really bad. It's not that much fun. They might get more fun as the younger dudes get more acclimatized to it, but yeah, at the moment that's where they are. Then we've got Milwaukee at 25, because that is not a fun watch without Giannis. It's just gross. No KPJ. Yeah, they could actually probably be below Utah. We could actually switch that. I think we ought to, because the Bucks are just, they're edging, definitely. They're in punch your dick bad territory. We should actually have 5 of them in the punching the dick bad territory. So look out. That's maybe where the Bucks are. They're slipping dramatically right now because they just lost to Washington. So yeah, this is a amenable, malleable list right now, where the Bucks have now slipped all the way down to 26 and will extend punching the dick bad to include them, because it's horrible. It's just horrible. And Doc Rivers, I've been fucking yelling about this now for fucking years. No good, mate. Just no good. Oh, I'll come in, I'll fix it. Mate. When was the last time you made a conference finals, mate? Oh yeah, a million fucking years ago. Anyway, bad but not fun continued. Memphis Grizzlies. They're at 24. They do have these moments where they are kind of fun-ish. Right? But a lot of the time without Ja, it is a rough fucking watch of the Memphis Grizzlies. Even with our man, the Rooster, Jock Landale, it's still a real rough one. They're now 18-27. They've lost 4 straight, and it's just, got their ass kicked by Charlotte at home the other day, and you're just like, it's not much fun. Not much fun at all. At least Jock's still doing okay. And the final one in the bad but not fun tier, that is at number 23, your Indiana Pacers, because you catch them on the right night, like when they came from fucking nowhere the other day and beat Boston, right? Oh, no, they lost to Boston. They beat the Thunder. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? And that's what every team playing them is saying as well, because they're just like, what the hell? And then they turned around and beat the Bulls yesterday. You're like, Jesus Christ. The thing is, because they're 12 and 36, you kind of like, okay, don't go too hard. Just settle down, mate. Just settle down. Pump the brakes. Bad but not fun. The fun but bad tier. This is your Dallas Mavericks. Cooper Flagg came back from his ankle injury. They're a little bit more fun when he plays. So that's why they're fun but bad. They are still bad, but when he's out there, you watch the Mavericks and you're like, this is kind of fucking weird and fun. Like just weird shit happens in Dallas games. And that's kind of fun, even if they are bad. The Charlotte Hornets, the exact same thing. They're at 21 for me now because they're like these two teams are playing today. It's tied 93-93 at the end of the third quarter right now. Charlotte, Dallas, they are both fun but bad. It is perfect they are tied 93-93 after three quarters because no motherfucker's playing defense. They're shooting the piss out of it. That's the Charlotte way. I love it. They're fun, but they're still bad. But they're kind of good enough that these games are kind of like chaotic insanity and they'll win some random ones. They've won 4 on the trot. That's why I've got them ahead of Dallas, who have lost a couple in the row. So Charlotte, fun but bad, and Chicago. Fun but bad as well. They've just slipped back under 500 because they lost to Miami today. They lost yesterday as well. It's classic Chicago. They just hit the dizzying heights of one game above 500 and went, fuck that, we're out. We need to dip back below 500 for a little bit and do nothing about it at the trade deadline. They're fun, but they're bad. They're the cardiac Bulls. They're so bad. They can't play a lick of fucking defense. They give up 119.8 points a game. That is the second worst in the East. There are some shit fucking teams in the East. What are we doing here, Chicago? Fix it. Look out! These two teams are comparable East-West. Portland are at 19. They've lost a bunch of games in a row, dealing with a bunch of injuries again. They've lost 3 straight. Denny's back has flared up. That's why they're back down in the lookout tier. I think they might have been in the good tier. They're also in lookout because, and so are the Hawks, because it might be time, like they could also jump into the next tier, which is trade time. So it's kind of an all-encompassing bit here, lookout. Because Portland, lookout, they could make a trade. Lookout, they could just get healthy and be a real fucking pain in your ass. Same goes for Atlanta, who have now had won a bunch of games in a row, and then lost today to Houston on a back-to-back. You get that on the big jobs. But look out, they're sort of just getting a little bit together now, and Atlanta are kind of fun, and look out, they might make a trade for Giannis. So they had just beaten the Grizzlies, the Suns, the Pacers, and the Celtics. Had the Hawks. Look out. Yes, they lose to the Rockets on a back-to-back, but they'd been on the road. They come home. One of those schedule losses, but look out, Hawks. They didn't play Jalen Johnson today either, so yeah. Trade time. Could involve those two teams as well, but trade time, Miami. They're 26 and 23. They just beat Chicago today. It still feels like there's just something fucking weird going on in Miami. And if we can get rid of Hero, we're laughing. Orlando. I don't really know if it's trade time there, but just something's weird. And it's like trade time question mark. They kind of just need to get healthy. That's my entire thing, and it's always been my entire thing about Orlando. When Suggs, Bain, Desmond Bain, Pato Banchero, and Franz Wagner all play, look out. But none of them fucking ever play together. It just doesn't happen. I think they've played 11 times together all season for a fuck all amount of minutes. It's really, really tough. I don't know. Their trade should be something like Jonathan Isaac's got to go. Maybe Goga's got to go. Maybe they're just got to do something just to change it up a hint. But Anthony Black's playing out of his skin. And like they and Miami are in these weird sort of positions where if they can get healthy, it might be a good fucking bit of a run here. But also maybe they need to make a little bit of a change around the edges. I don't know. Golden State's the next one in trade time. because I kind of think they have to do something. But they've been pretty good, and like all three of these teams are sort of around that mark: 24 and 22 for Orlando, 25 and 23 for Miami, and Golden State's 27 and 22, which I've got them above them because they've been playing really, really well. The problem is, with Jimmy Butler sitting there, Draymond getting older by the fucking second and basically becoming a podcaster commentator, trade him. Just trade him. Bite the bullet, keep Steph, try to get Giannis. The good tier is getting a bit bigger now because the LA Clippers have joined it. Because all they do is win, win, win no matter what. What is it, 16 and 3 in their last bunch of games? That's just absurd. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 and 3. They're good. They're good. They're crushing it. Looking great. They smashed the Jazz, smashed the Nets, beat the piss out of the Lakers, lost that weird Bulls game. Clippers are good. Sixers are good. Maxey, game winner against Sacramento, but Embiid and Paul George just looking healthy and looking like basketball players. That's huge. Philly are good. They've got another, like this is maintenance time for Philly, right? It's Maxey and VJ figuring out how to play with Paul George and Embiid, and they're doing a pretty bloody good job of it. I'm just saying. So, stick with that, get better, and you'll jump into the pretty good tier, I reckon. Phoenix are in the good tier because they'll have these games where they're pretty good. They're 28 and 19, but they'll also have games where you're like, what's going on? They're currently beating the shit out of Detroit, which might jump them back up into the pretty good one after today, but for the minute, they've just beaten the Jazz, the Nets, and the Lakers. They lost. Oh, no, that was the Clippers. Who did Phoenix lose to? I had them just up. What am I doing? But Phoenix, yeah, that's right. They lost to the Heat, lost to the Hawks, beat the Nets. That was the thing. I had the Nets because they both played the Nets. And the Suns are good. Dylan Brooks might be an all-star. Devin Booker is out there, I don't know, messages with like Kendall Jenner. I don't know what's going on. They're good. Cleveland are good again. They lose Garland, they lose Mobley, and apparently it's no fucking problems. Go figure. Because all they're doing is riding Jalen Tyson and kicking the fuck out of the Lakers by 30 points. After they beat the Magic in back-to-back games. They've won 5 games straight now, Cleveland. Cleveland are rolling. 29 and 20, they are good. Minnesota have righted the ship. They are good again after a bit of a swoon. And this is it. Like, teams go through swoons. The Knicks were at fucking panic stations a week ago. Then they kick the absolute living fuck out of the Nets and they're fine again, right? Same sort of thing goes for Minnesota. But there are sort of some problems in the way that they're constructed, and you can sort of see it on the floor at times. But after that weird game that they get killed and just, I don't know, turn around and then smoke the Warriors, they flip those 2 games around. Then they smack the Mavs. They're now currently playing the Thunder and beating them by 13 at the half. The Wolves are back to good. It's fine. The Lakers are good. That was a tough loss where they got shit pumped by Cleveland, but they're still good, I think. If Austin Reeves comes back, he's been listed as questionable for tomorrow, so they're still good. They've got enough time to sort of figure out what the fuck they're going to do at the trade deadline. I don't know if they're going to do too much, though. Just don't know how to improve this team. But Vanderbilt, Jim, yeah. Pretty good tier. We're up to number 8. So the Lakers were 9. At number 8, I've still got Toronto. The Raptors, pretty good. They're pretty good. 29 and 20. Had a nice little run up until a really strange game against the Knicks that they blew 119-92. Before that, they were coming off that awesome win over the Thunder on the weekend. The Raptors are still pretty good. They're pretty good. 29 and 20, feeling good, feeling great. But they're behind 2 other East teams right now, the Knicks and the Celtics, who are both still pretty good as well. The Knicks have just jumped back up from trade time to pretty good after a couple of good wins, including that one over Toronto. The Raptors' depth is really, really sort of, it's tested at times. It feels like all the time, to be honest. But as long as Scotty Barnes has been out there, RJ's now back. If they can just stay fucking healthy for a couple of weeks, get Pirtle back at some point, right? Maybe. Like, he's got a back injury. There's no, like, timetable for return. Just saying. Raptors are good. Raptors are deep. They're pretty good. So are the Knicks. They're pretty good again. They've won, a couple on the trot, as I mentioned. And the Celtics are also pretty good because these are the three teams behind Detroit in the East. The Knicks are the 2 seed, ahead of the Celtics just because I think conference record, I want to say. But those three are kind of interchangeable for me, and they probably will be down the rest of the season. The Raptors' depth, the Knicks, look, top-end talent. That starting 5 is awesome. And the Celtics shooting and everything else that they do is really, really, really good. Can they jump into the really bloody good tier? The Knicks, yes. The Raptors, if they got Giannis, yes. The Celtics, if they get Tatum back, the latest news about him was, he's not going to come back this year, is reevaluating, and then you get all the actual reports from actual fucking journalists, not you, Chris Haynes. That dude's a flog as well. Going, look, nothing's changed. He's still just going to evaluate where he's at and come back and just be fucking safe. Anyway, the Celtics get Tatum back and he looks good. Yes, they can jump into the really good tier. Pretty good for the minute. And the Houston Rockets, after that loss yesterday against the Spurs where they just fell apart down the stretch, crazy game. They scored, 37 points in the second half after scoring 36 in the first quarter against the Spurs, and then Wemby fucked them up. Yeah, there's a little bit of worry. I'm just saying. But they did turn around and smack the shit out of Atlanta today. So, good bounce back. But by the same token, yeesh. Still pretty good though, the Rockets. They're 29-17. Feeling good, feeling great. The really bloody good tier, unchanged from last week. Denver, even without Jokic, are still remarkably 31-16, cruising along, feeling good, feeling great. Playing the Nets today, hopefully they win this one. That's 86-79 now, with my name is Jonas Valanciunas crushing it, and no other. You got Jam and Jamal Murray out there with 18, 4, and 5, but Nuggets still good. And as I said earlier, keep pumping the playing time into these young dudes. You'll reap the rewards later. It's very good. With that solid, Hardaway, Bruce Brown bench unit, they're okay. Spurs, really bloody good. You saw them just take apart Houston yesterday. It was awesome. It was great fun. Loved every second of it. Way to go, Spurs. I did tip Houston. I felt pretty good about that at halftime. Then watching Wemby just go off his head in the second half was unreal. Castle, Harper, Jesus, that is one hell of a fun team, and they are really bloody good. They get Vassell back. Suddenly it's just oh shit, they got shooting, they got depth. Fucking hell. Really bloody good. The Detroit basketball Pistons, who are currently down 12 to Phoenix at the 3/4 time there, they're still really bloody good. Doesn't bother me. Detroit are crushing it 34-11 and just having come off a big win over the Nuggets, smashed the Kings, lost to the Rockets. You get that on the big jobs. I said that earlier. But Detroit, there is so much upside, I still think. And if they swing a big fucking trade for Giannis, look it up. But I don't know if they will. Vibes are too high. But it's one of these games, if you lose to the Suns, maybe you go, ooh, they're down 12. Tough second quarter. They lose that second quarter by 12 points and they're still down 12. Basically played them to a standstill outside of that. But Detroit, still really bloody good. And the last remaining tier at number 1, it is the tier that is now called might not win 70 games. That's the Oklahoma City Thunder. Might not win 70 games now, Jim. Yeah, I know. Yep. 38-10. Down 13.5 to Minnesota. Does not mean they're going to lose that game. But just dealing with enough injuries and sort of making sure they're resting players and testing their depth as much as they can, that you're sort of just what's going on? Right? Just a bit fucking janky. But they're still really, really good, so it's okay. Hartenstein is back, but yeah, no Caruso, AJ Mitchell, or J-Dub at the moment for them. So still, could they lose 2 games the rest of the way? Yes. 3? Very definitely. So possible. So I don't know if they're going to win 70. Breaks my heart. Love this Thunder team's ability just to fucking wax teams, but don't know if they're going to win 70. They're still number 1 in the power rankings though, because they're fucking just absurd. And what did I say? 38-10. Just what are we doing? So fucking good. Yeah, 38-10. All right. There you go. Let's do some previews for tomorrow. Game previews for your Saturday. You excited for the weekend? I know I am. A few tins tomorrow at the pub. Chill Sunday. Just a very nice, relaxed one, I reckon. Remember, you can follow all of our picks over at Dabble. We're still cruising along at about 55% against the spread, so not bad, just saying. I don't know how we're actually doing today. I haven't checked, but still pretty good. You can just hit the link in our show description or our social bios. That'll take you to it, so go have a look. All of the picks go up there. We also do the morning video where I sort of just give a couple of thumbs up here or there. Lakers at Washington tomorrow for your Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern. Lakers are 8.5-point favorites. I'm going to go the Lakers. The Wiz were pretty good today. Got a big win. Home back-to-back. No John Wall retirement ceremony thing. I'm going to go the Lakers. Toronto, Orlando. Huge game. Huge game for the Magic Men at home. Raptors have probably got enough size to counter some of these Magic dudes. I think I'm going to go with Raptors plus 1.5. I don't know if Orlando are quite just fixed enough to get everybody pulling in the right direction to play this Toronto team. You think about like the perimeter defense when you got Paolo out there and you've got Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, Brandon Ingram and co. for the Raps. Yeah, I think they can just hang. It's a fun game though. I'm going to take the Raps plus 1.5. Sacramento go to Boston, having just played the Sixers down to the wire. Boston will kill them. Celtics are 11.5-point favorites. Boston lost to Atlanta yesterday, and I think I'll take Boston for a big bounce back. Portland, New York. Blazers on a bit of a struggling trip here. I'm going to take the Knicks minus 7.5. I think defensively and offensively they'll be a little bit too good for this Blazers team at the moment. Memphis at New Orleans. I'm going to take the Pels, minus 2.5. The Grizzlies have looked a little bit all over the shop. And Pelicans, every so often, will do something good at home. Yeah, let's go the Pels. Cleveland at Phoenix. Phoenix currently in a just huge, awesome battle against Detroit. Cavs come in next. I'm probably going to take Cleveland over Phoenix. There's no line for that, so I'll take the Cavs. Clippers, Denver. That's a fun one. Denver up against the Nets today. I'll take the Clippers to keep rolling. They're 5.5-point favorites in Denver. I'll take the Clips. Brooklyn, Utah. Brooklyn obviously playing Denver today. I will take the Utah. Yes. And then we have Detroit at Golden State. A ripper game. Warriors sort of hanging out at home. Detroit off a back-to-back having played in Phoenix today. I might take the Warriors there as well. We've got a lot of games heading up to the trade deadline as well. They're sort of cramming them all in at the moment, so just keep an eye out there. But anyway, there you go. That's it for the week. What a week it's been. We will be back, as I mentioned, to our normally scheduled programming as of next week. I think we'll do a Monday show, just depending on timing for Sunday night. Usually we tried to do the Sunday night show into Monday. For the next 2 weeks, though, we might sort of change it up because obviously in 2 weeks' time, 2 Mondays' time, we've got the Super Bowl. Come down, hang out with us at the Catfish. We're doing our Super Bowl party for NFL Straya there, as per usual, hosting it, having a great time, drinking a million beers. So come down, hang out with myself and Gaz if you want. But yeah, that means there'll be no show on that Monday. And I've got pub cricket, I think, on that Sunday. I might try to do a quick one on Sunday night. I just don't like my chances. So you might just have to wait. Especially if the Pats win. Let's fucking go. Anyway, so yeah, we should be 3 big shows next week and then a couple of little quick hitters on YouTube and Spotify video next week as well. Back to the grind. And also with the trade deadline coming up, there'll be non-stop coverage, so just keep an eye out. Otherwise, you can follow us on all the socials, obviously. Facey, Twitter, IG, YouTube, TikTok. Jump in there, say good day, send us through some ENRs, any other questions you got, any other comments. Let us have it, I guess. Get around NFL Australia as well, obviously. Myself and Gaz. We've got the Super Bowl party on Monday, February 9. So we'll see you at the Catfish in Fitzroy. Come hang out. It's awesome. It's a great day. It's the best fucking party in Melbourne, bar none. All the other ones that charge, this is free as well. I can't believe people charge them money and just, fucking sit here. Come hang out with the coolest fucking people who like NFL in Melbourne. That's the selling point. Come hang out with us at the Catfish. Get around. Jim does Supercoach as well. Every Monday we do the NBA Supercoach show We are going to struggle to do that next Monday after Super Bowl. Just saying. Woof. I have to pre-record some of that one. Anyway, rate, review, and star across all of your podcast apps, of course. Hey, buymeacoffee.com/NBA Australia if you want to support the show. That'll get you the new exclusive extra podcast that we do once a month. I'm going to try to do it once a month from here on out. And all the extra stuff I'm going to put up on that board as well. So go check it out. buymeacoffee.com/NBA Australia. Buy your mate Jim a beer or a coffee once a month and get exclusive fun content. Big thanks go to From Oslo for the intro and outro song They Rule. So to House Hats, Joshua Delarentis, Fascinator Gold Mines, Ram Shekalami, iOS, Extra Green, and Dozers. They're behind all the tunes you hear throughout the show. And that's it. We'll maybe... nothing at the end of this one because it's already pretty long. So that's it. Nothing at the end of this one. Enjoy your weekend. Have a good one. We'll talk to you on Monday, I reckon. I think we're going to struggle on Sunday night to do the show. But keep an eye out. See how we do. There might be some trades to chat about anyway. So lots coming up. Big week ahead. Let's get into it. Enjoy your weekend. This is NBA Australia saying look after yourselves, would you? And later, hosen.